The Avalugg cheese is back. What's good? It's your boy Rico. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Duel. Now, if you guys have been noticing, I've been playing with the Alolan Sandslash and the Alolan Sandshrew a lot. And you guys have noticed that I've been playing it a lot with my Steel deck because it is a Steel Ice type figure. Because like Ice figures, we don't really have that good of Ice figures. But I noticed something interesting about the Snowcloak ability. It says this Pokemon can MP move past Ice type Pokemon. So this leads me to believe in the future, maybe right around the corner, we're going to be getting some ice, maybe a ice banner or more ice figures. So let's kind of take a look at the ice figures that we have. I mean, you guys remember when this was somewhat, I wouldn't say meta, but it was an interesting deck when you would have three and they buffed each other. But other than that, what do we have for ice figures? I mean, we have the annoying Avalugg and Bergmite deck. We got the Kyurem, but other than that, what other ice figures do we have? Articuno, who I honestly think the ice charge should be a lot bigger. Mine's changed to 10, and I have my ice charge to 29, but I think it should be bigger. But other than that, what runners do we have for ice figures? I mean, we have the Glaceons, and we have the Smoochum. What other runners do we have? We don't have any runners, so it's kind of hard to build an ice deck centered around Alolan Sandshrew and Alolan Sandstress. So I put my head to the test, and I was thinking, what can we use? What ice deck can we use utilizing the Alolan Sandslash and the Alolan Sandshrew? Well, first we need a runner. Typically, when you're building a deck, you kind of need a runner. We don't really have any ice runners, but we do have the Rotom, and we do have the Frost Rotom, okay? So I brought in the Frost Rotom, and if you guys didn't know, the Frost Rotom, the refrigerator, all Pokemon become Ice-type Pokemon for 9 turns. Well, Alolan Sandslash and Alolan Sandshrew, their ability... Oh, no, I didn't mean to go back. They can go through Ice Mons. So when you evolve or change forms from your Rotom, you have 5 turns to go through Mons. We also have the Avalugg. So the Avalugg has some nice cheese, and his ability is Ice Breaker. Before using this Pokemon, you can switch its position with an adjacent Ice-type Pokemon or Frozen Pokemon. Your Ice-type Pokemon can move over this Pokemon. So you can put them on the goal or on the entry point. You change forms and you can go over the goal, or your Sandshrew and Sandslash can just freely do it. Same with Articuno. And then I have the Shaman. Why the Shaman? Well, I needed another 3MP figure that can move through Mons. Now, ideally, Coco would be better, but I kind of wanted to just test out the Shaman with the Avalugg, because the Avalugg has, when Shaman's on the board, Avalugg can be 2MP, because, I mean, really, this deck is trying to get the Ice Cheese. Probably want to use Coco instead, and probably just use one Sandshrew into Sandslash. You don't need both of them, but because they're new figures, I wanted to play with them. So I've got a couple matches that I want to show you guys, and if you guys forgot how the Avalugg cheese works, well, I'm here to show you. Give me 1 second. All right, we are back. Game number 1, and I go second. If you go first, this deck, the cheese could be done in 4 turns. Well, depending if the opponent decides to not rush you with the Coco. But I mean, why would you not rush with the Coco? I mean, Coco has a good shot at taking out any of these runners. Okay, but anyway, so look at my opponent's deck. He's got the Goodbye. He's got the Alolan Sandslash, and he also has this Crawlnat, which does have the ability you can attack it. When attacked, you can move this Pokemon back 2 steps without battling. It gains weight. When you have a couple of these mixed with Bulu, it is so annoying because Bulu's ability, it negates the weight. So, I mean, this guy knows what my deck does. I know what his deck does, and actually Zoro would be a lot better in my deck instead of the Sandshrew. But like I said, I want to play with both of them, so let's watch how this match unfolds. Like I said, I go second, and I'm going to stop right here. So typically when the opponent opens up with, something that can rush the goal, primarily Coco, you kind of always want to open up on the opposite side. If I were to open up right here, Coco can come and just attack me, and that's pretty much GG. Well, I mean, the Alolan Sandslash and Alolan Sandshrew could do well in the Coco, but Coco does have a large blue. But that's why you don't move here. I have 2 runners to basically stop the rush, but if I were to move here and I get attacked, pretty much GG boys. So I move on the opposite side. He takes my entry point. I cover up the goal. He brings on his Whim Pod, and he's going to bring his Zora closer. So I'm going to threaten game, and this is what you do. They obviously have to cover goal. Next play, you're going to play the refrigerator, and you're going to move right next to the goal. You don't attack them, because I mean, if they don't know the cheese, then they don't know the cheese. And then he takes my entry point, which is fine. Baited him. Now we're going to switch with Avalugg, and now it's pretty much GG boys. Like, you have to attack my Avalugg, or it's GG boys. He does not, and we pull the switch because everything is an ice type for 5 turns. So, I mean, that's a quick game. I actually got a lot quick cheese games just like that. A lot of them when I was going first, I was able... You know what? I was actually really, really salty one game. I was playing the Swampert deck, like all the water mons in Swampert just in double Swampert Knight so they can move under gain 3 MP. I went first. I moved there in the center. They moved close to the goal. I did the whole thing. My opponent actually knew what I could do. He DCs with Swampert. Swampert has a large blue. I have a large blue. I rolled the miss. I was so salty. But sorry for the rant. Let's jump in to game number 2. All right, guys, we are back, and this is going to be... It's going to be a large... Oh, man, I forgot when I go into my photos, it makes the picture off-center. So there's like a giant black line on the right side, and it's going to annoy me the entire... Oh, my God, I'm pissed off. All right, whatever. So look at my opponent. Okay, we're just going to stop. We're going to talk about this. This was in League. My opponent is rocking the Twins and the Blastoise, the Mega Blastoise. So it's going to be... It's a very interesting deck. I mean, I am like only 3.3, so I'm obviously not playing the Ultra Beast and all the annoying rush decks. But he opened on the same side, so I was able to open on the same side, and now I have a good defense. Oh, and I didn't even really explain my deck. Let's kind of explain the deck just a little bit. This deck, it's an interesting deck. It's not that well thought out either because I have 2 plays that buff the Articuno. Basically, I have the Sandshrew and the Sandslash to kind of clog up the center, if you will. That way I can't get attacked, and then Articuno can kind of just weave in and out of people when it's buffed. When it's hitting for 170 and 130, and the Ice Charge is huge. And then we also, like I said, have the Rotom, which goes into the Frost Rotom to enable my Sandshrew and my Sandslash to move through figures as well. And obviously the cheese in the beginning. But anyway, let's continue on. Let's see how this game unfolds. He attacks me, and boom, I get to threaten game just like that. So got to show off Alolan Sandslash a little bit. He DCs here. I thought about, or not DCs, but he gold blocks. I thought about just attacking him, but I was like, nope, we're going to go for the cheese. You know exactly what we're going to do. We are going to refrigerator. And he attacks me. I'm like, oh, no. Please don't. Boom. Hit the revert. Let's go. And now I'm going to move right next to my opponent. My opponent is bringing his Reshiram. And then you know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to pull the switch right here. If my opponent does not move Reshiram, and he does not, you know exactly what it is. That is GG boys. So, I mean, I've been running this deck, getting cheesy wins like that. I had one good game, like I said. The game I actually lost when I didn't get the cheese at the beginning because I rolled a miss. Super salty. But that's kind of the premises of this deck. I can't wait until we get more ice figures. Like I said, I'm predicting some ice banner. I'm predicting a Frostlass, 3 MP. Ghost figure can move through mons, so that's going to help propel ice decks. That's my prediction. What are your guys' prediction for the next banner? And if it is nice banner, what figures do you want to see? But to conclude the video, we have 2 boosters. Let's open up those. And the Queen's Cup is still going. Is it still going on? Yeah, it ends, doesn't it? It ends tonight. Hold on, let me see where my placing is at, because we got to get top 3K because we want that mask. And we also want to pull our beloved Manaphy. H2O Queen, this is for you. Calling it right now. Manaphy, let's go. Okay, maybe not today. But let me check on this Queen's Cup real quick. Okay, we're 500, so we're solid. We're solid. And looks like, oh, there's a special request right now, but we're solid. I'm going to cut it there, and let's just pray that we get a banner sometime soon, sometime this week. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, peace.